You're out here on the street corner hustling sesame flatbreads when some immortal cultivation big shot starts wiping out civilians. This dude's giant hand comes down and obliterates an entire city, leaving nothing but a massive handprint in the ground. You're the only person left alive within 100 miles. Turns out you literally can't die. And you've got this stat allocation system in your head. You can dump points into strength, magic, or luck. Every year you survive, you get 1 stat point. So your plan? Find somewhere to lay low, wait for all these immortals to die off, then come back out and run the world. 2.5 years into your grind, you land a job as a constable in some backwater little town. You live by one rule: always do good deeds. You help fallen women get back on their feet, hook them up as top performers at the local parlor. You even pick up stray dogs off the street and take them out for all you can eat. Because of all that, you win Best Constable 2 years straight. Just when you think this peaceful life is gonna keep rolling, the Imperial Court sends recruiters to conscript soldiers. And guess who's first on the list? You constables. Because y'all eat government food, you're in decent shape, and you've had some training. Just when you think there's no way out, you get exempted from military service, thanks to those 2 consecutive Best Constable awards. You're about to say, good things come to good people, when a local military officer shows up looking dead serious. You think he's here to cause problems? But nope. He wants you to look after his 15-year-old daughter. He's about to ship off to the front lines, and he's heard you're out here doing good every day. He thinks you're someone he can trust, so he offers to leave you a fat stack of cash, and just asks you to take care of his girl. You don't overthink it. You say yes on the spot. Next thing you know, you're standing at the officer's front door. You knock twice and call out, "Cheyenne, you home?" Suddenly, you hear quick footsteps rushing inside. A girl peeks out and timidly goes, "Hi, bro Shen." You smile and say, "I'll be looking after you from now on." Your dad told you, right? Cheyenne gives a shy little nod. You go, "All right, I'll go grab my clothes and bedding and move in." Cheyenne freezes. Her face goes red and she waves her hands. "No, no, no! This is way too fast! Besides, I'm not even of age yet. I know you're a good guy, bro Shen, but let me just turn you down on this one." You're a little thrown off by this out-of-nowhere rejection. She clearly misunderstood. You laugh it off. "I live right down the street, 3 houses down. Need anything? Just come find me." Then you help her tidy up the house and take her out to stock up on supplies. A few days later, the girl starts warming up to you. You start teaching her math and science whenever you've got time. Under your guidance, Xiayan's whole world opens up. On top of that, you start dumping all your stat points into strength. You do little magic tricks for Xiayan, like crushing rocks into dust with your bare hand. Life is quiet and honestly pretty fun. Time keeps ticking along. And while the town itself stays out of the war, something in the shadows has quietly set its sights on Xiayan. You've heard that a gang of bandits has been holed up near Fixie Town. Lately, they've been robbing and killing people left and right. You've gone up the mountain to hunt them down multiple times, but turned up nothing. With the bandits still out there, the whole town is starting to live in fear. One night, you're out on your usual patrol, not knowing some guy at the edge of town is sneaking a group of strangers inside. These guys follow him in fast, slip into town, and head straight for Xiayan's place. The guide knocks on the door. Little Xia! Little Xia! It's me, Wang the blacksmith. It's urgent, open up." But Xiayan doesn't open the door. She quietly moves toward the underground passage you left for her. Just as Wang the blacksmith is about to shout again, the other guys get impatient. They bust the lock and push their way into Xiayan's room. Xiayan hears the commotion outside and tenses up. Their footsteps press in like a blade, right up against her chest, squeezing every breath out of her. And right at that critical moment, a loud voice cuts through the air. "Hey, what do you all think you're doing?" You're standing there with your lantern staring down this whole crew. These are clearly the same bandits you've been trying to catch. And Wang the blacksmith? The town's inside man. The bandits see you're alone and just start cracking up. The ringleader goes, "What are you trying to do? Walk right into a trap. Tell you what, kowtow a few times, and we'll let you walk away with your life." You don't say a word. You just raise your sword and point it at the whole group. You've got 10 seconds. Anyone still holding a weapon gets put down. They don't flinch. If anything, they laugh even harder. The ringleader grabs his blade and charges straight at you. You don't even dodge. You just reach out and grab the blade with your bare hand. Cracks spread across the entire blade, and a split second later, it shatters into dust and drops to the ground. Dead silence. The bandits just stare at the shattered blade, frozen. One of them, a sharp-looking strategist type, steps forward. "We're just wounded soldiers who fled the battlefield. No offense intended. We've got plenty of money on us, it's all yours. Just spare our lives." You don't say a thing. You just casually run your sword through the ringleader. Then you smile. "Let me introduce myself. Name's Shen Qianqiu. 4-time best constable of this town. Now let me send y'all to your next life." The bandits know they can't run. They all rush you at once. But in under 10 minutes, you're the only one still standing. Xiayan witnesses all of it and is completely blown away. Next morning, the townspeople see the bandits laid out in a neat row in front of Xiayan's door. Jaws drop. Gossip erupts. You get promoted to head constable on the spot. You also hear through the grapevine that one of the bandits has a brother who joined an immortal sect. He might come looking for revenge in a few decades. But you're not sweating it. A few decades from now, who even knows who's gonna beat who? Over the next few years, once you max strength out at 10, you make a surprising call. You throw 1 point into luck. You just wanted to test it out. But suddenly every random rock you pick up off the street has a gold nugget inside. Meanwhile, Xiayan has grown into a full-on young woman. Plenty of guys in town have come knocking to ask for her hand, but Xiayan keeps turning them all down. She's also become way more attached to you, always coming over to your place. And even though you're supposedly in your 30s, you haven't aged a day, still looking just as fresh as the day you met. "Bro Qianqiu, I made steamed fish for you. Try it and tell me if it's good." "Bro Qianqiu, wanna go fishing together? Last time you went by yourself and caught everything. I didn't catch a single one." "Bro Qianqiu, how are you still so young?" "This ain't right. What if I get old? And you're still sitting there looking like that?" No way, no way. Absolutely not. And time slips by with every bro Qiankyu, Xiaoyan calls out. Around year 13, news finally arrives that Xiaoyan's father is dead. That night, Xiaoyan cries for a long time. You just sit quietly by her side. Xiaoyan looks up at you through her tears. Bro Qiankyu, do you think anyone in this world actually cares about me? You nod. Yeah. Xiaoyan wipes her eyes. Who? You say plainly, me. Xiaoyan looks down, not surprised but still happy to hear it. She takes a beat, then looks up with a burst of courage. Bro Qiankyu? But before the words, I like you, even leave her lips, a brilliant flash of light appears over the town, followed by a booming announcement. The immortal master is taking disciples. Townspeople start rushing over from everywhere. There's an old man standing there, and he says, We are cultivators from the Fuyao immortal sect. We've sensed a person of great destiny here. We've come to bring them back as a disciple. The whole town practically explodes. The Fuyao sect is literally built above the 9 heavens. Their disciples outrank emperors. For a regular person, getting into a sect like this is a once-in-a-lifetime shot. The old man waits for the crowd to gather, then flicks his hand. Lights of different colors appear above everyone's heads. Then he's about to say something, and shatters his own artifact in sheer shock. The old man from Fuyao sect is freaking out. He takes a deep breath and says, We need the ancestor. A second later, a figure steps out of thin air. The mysterious figure doesn't say much. She flicks her hand and a 7-colored token flies out. It's the heavenly mechanism token, the Fuyao sect's most sacred artifact. This is the Fuyao Empress's personal treasure. It can detect someone's luck and fate, and track the path of the Great Tao. It came all the way to this remote little town, because it sensed someone of immense destiny here. The token shoots out like a meteor and lands right in front of Xiaoyan. The old man lights up and points at her. Found her. The one of great destiny. It's this girl. The mysterious figure speaks up, a clear, commanding female voice. Will you join my Fuyao immortal sect and walk the path of the Great Tao? Xiaoyan blinks, stunned. Me? The mysterious woman nods. The heavenly mechanism token measures luck in 9 tiers, and yours is top tier. You are absolutely a person of great destiny. Xiaoyan still can't wrap her head around it. She shakes her head. Are you sure you got the right person? The woman shakes her head and points to the token. The heavenly mechanism token does not make mistakes. You are the one of great destiny. This is your path. Don't even think about saying no. If you don't join us, the outside world's dark cultivators will come after your luck, and your life won't be safe. After hearing all that, you frown and ask, How do I know you won't go after Zia's luck too? The woman shakes her head. Our sect has always protected this realm. I'll swear an oath on the Great Tao. She points at Xiaoyan, and the sky and earth shift in an instant. A thin thread of light connects them across the heavens. Xiaoyan feels a strange new bond, and knows the woman isn't lying. Reassured, you ask, So what does cultivation actually look like? The woman explains, The Fuyao sect's primary path is immortal cultivation. Xiaoyan has the potential to achieve the highest level of the Great Tao, but it'll take tens of thousands of years to get there. Xiaoyan gasps, looks over at you and goes, Can Bro Qiankyu come along? The mysterious woman figures it's no big deal to bring you along too. She pulls out the heavenly mechanism token and scans you. The token flares up with a strange glow. The woman's cool composure cracks, because you have 0 luck energy. See, every cultivator throughout history has had some luck energy in their body. The more you have, the higher you can climb on the Great Tao. But there's a rare exception. People with 0 luck energy. There are only 2 explanations for that. 1. You're a reincarnated powerhouse from beyond. Someone who surpassed the Emperor level, capable of erasing anything with a flick of the wrist. But those types are universally feared across the heavens. Do not approach. 2. You're just a person with no root. Talent and luck simply unreadable. The mysterious woman frowns and flat out refuses to bring you along. Xiaoyan freaks out and says, But Bro Shen is seriously strong. He took out over a dozen bandits by himself. The woman cuts her off with a hand. You're just sheltered right now. Once you walk the immortal path, you'll see how small mortals really are. I'll give him some compensation before we leave. Xiaoyan hesitates. She wants to become an immortal, but she doesn't want to leave you. The woman sees this and keeps pushing. You don't need to overthink it. Once you join, I'll pass him a cultivation method. He can still cultivate on his own. If he's got the talent, you two will meet again. She says all the right things, but she doesn't actually take you seriously. With Xiaoyan's potential, if she doesn't die young, she's got at least 100,000 years of life. You're just a mortal. In 1,000 years, you'll be nothing but dust. Xiaoyan looks down, gripping your sleeve. Broshen, I want to go. I want to cultivate. Not for glory, just so that when the immortal sect comes back for revenge, she can stand up and protect you. She wants to walk the cultivation road with you someday, live a long life together, and just stay by your side. Truth is, over these years, she's already noticed something's off. Your face hasn't changed at all, but she's different. She'll get old eventually. That's why she wants to go. You look at Xiaoyan, crack a smile, and say, go for it. Go live the life you want. Okay, Xiaoyan agrees, then quietly wipes her tears with the back of her hand. The mysterious woman, seeing Xiaoyan agree, sets a date. She'll take her in 3 days. But on the last night of that 3rd day, Xiaoyan shows up at your door with a jug of wine. All tipsy, she goes, Broshen, hubby, open the door. You hear the noise and open right up. Xiaoyan stumbles her way inside. You see she's been drinking, frown, and wave your hand at her. Shut. You still with it? She looks up at you confused. Broshen, why do you have 2 heads right now? You blink. Sha, you're drunk. Go back to your room. She completely ignores you. She leans her head on your shoulder. Nuh-uh, I'm not drunk. I'm just a little dizzy. You're looking at her all red-faced and tipsy, just about to go get her some sober-up soup. But she grabs your sleeve tight. Don't go. Broshen, don't leave me. You sigh and give in. The two of you make your way over to the bed. Jiayan sits there, cheeks flushed, looking at you. Bro Shen, do you believe in drunk honesty? You scratch your head looking a little pained. Sha, you're drunk. But she pushes you down onto the bed, tears running down her face, stubborn as ever. No, I'm not. I'm not drunk. I like you. Bro Shen, I don't even know when it started. Maybe spring. Maybe summer. Maybe it grew over time. Maybe it was love at first sight. But I like you. I really do. You sit with it for a moment. You know a drunk person couldn't say that. You quietly pull her close. And Jiayan keeps going. Maybe if this cultivation thing never came up, I never would have said it. I've always thought you were on another level, bro. Like you're not from the same world as me. I keep thinking, you're probably never gonna age. And I'm just gonna turn into a little old lady day by day. Every time I think about that, it breaks my heart. You watch Jiayan wipe the corner of her eye. Then she grins. But this cultivation chance gave me a way out. I want to stay by your side longer, bro. Go see everything this world has to offer, together. So it's a deal, okay? You look at her smiling like she's the brightest thing in the room and you nod hard. Yeah, it's a deal. When the third day comes, Jiayan gets taken away by the Fuyao sect before she can even say goodbye. The old man from before eventually tracks you down. He's got straight up disdain in his eyes. He goes, artifact or cultivation manual, pick one. I'll give you top tier. Should be more than enough for a mortal like you. You don't care. Sure, you can't take him right now, but stall for a few hundred years and you'll be farming him for gold coins. No hesitation. You ask for a cultivation manual that burns lifespan in exchange for power. The old man doesn't get it, but he tosses you a damaged copy of the tortoise breath technique, plus 2 foundation pills, and bounces. You crack open the manual and the very first page hits you with a line. 30,000 years of lifespan to reach quasi-saint, 300,000 years to become unmatched. You scratch your head. Isn't this a foundation-level technique? But you don't overthink it. You just start cultivating. In the blink of an eye, 10 years had passed since Jiayan left. Your face hadn't changed one bit. The townspeople just figured you'd scored some immortal technique from a celestial being and extended your lifespan. But slowly, people started showing up at your door looking to learn those techniques. And just like that, word spread. There was an immortal living in this small town, and everyone within 100 miles had heard about it. Over the past 10 years, you'd been evenly splitting your stat points between strength and luck. You were sitting at strength 20 and luck 6. And you realized your strength had reached a terrifying level, like mountain-crushing, river-splitting levels. Luck, on the other hand, hadn't changed much. You just noticed you kept finding more money on the ground. Then one day, just as you were heading out for a stroll, the system pinged. Luck activated. Turtle breath art has evolved into grand turtle breath art. You just stood there, rubbing your head. No way that just happened. You pulled up the new technique, and the biggest difference from the old one was immediately obvious. 4 big glowing words at the bottom. Nascent soul technique. The whole thing burned lifespan to fuel cultivation. And it was way faster than before. You gave the system a mental thumbs up. This new technique was literally made for you. As the days went on, more and more people came looking to be your disciple. Young masters whose clans had been wiped out, seeking revenge through cultivation. And clan kids who'd been dumped and wanted payback on their exes' families. You turned every single one of them down. Just when you thought the quiet life would keep going, a shady group of strangers showed up and started scheming against you in the town tavern. They were a crew of wandering martial artists who'd just rolled into town. One guy in a bamboo hat spoke first. Word is, the town chief here is some kind of immortal. Face hasn't aged in over 20 years. And apparently some woman close to him got taken up to the celestial realm. Someone cut in. Then why wasn't he taken with her? The bamboo hat guy scoffed. Probably just not talented enough. The immortal didn't want him. That's exactly what I was gonna say. This immortal title is all hype and no substance. Dude's got no real skills. Pure clout chasing. Then he started hyping up the other martial artists around him to launch a test attack on you. The next day, 2 rival groups got into it on the street. Since they were all high-level fighters, the local authorities immediately asked you to go handle it. You spotted a little girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old, trapped and panicking in the middle of the street. The 2 groups had already started fighting, and she was about to get slashed. Then a massive wave of pressure started bearing down on the entire area. You looked at the fighters, furrowed your brow, didn't even bother with them, and walked straight to the little girl. You smiled and said, "Hey, go home, you're safe." The girl immediately nodded. She turned and bolted. You watched her disappear into the distance, and your expression went cold. You turned to the group and said, "You know I'm a patient guy. Pay for the damage and walk away right now and I'll let you off." Before you even finished, the lead fighter just shook his head. "We'll pay for the damage, but beef between martial artists? That gets settled right here, right now. Otherwise our guys become a laughingstock." You just smiled. This isn't the martial world, and I don't care who you're backed by. You want to test me? Then be ready to pay the price. The leader's face shifted. "Not sure what you mean by that, Lord Shen." You ignored him and kept talking. "White Sea Swordsman, Shungu Temple, Calm Heart Pavilion, Great Sun Mountain, whoever you're from, you've got 50 breaths. After that, you're dead." The leader exploded. "Lord Shen, I respect you as an immortal, but don't push it." And with that, the whole group slowly started closing in on you. You glanced around and said nothing more. One casual flick of a finger, a sword key shot straight through the leader. On the surface, he looked completely fine. Then the next second, he crumbled like sand. The rest of the crew took one look and scattered. After cleaning up that little circus just as you were heading home, a bamboo hat man stepped right in front of you. He clasped his hands and bowed. "Please come out of seclusion, sir. Protect the great song." You sized him up and immediately put it together. This whole test had been his doing. Then he started explaining. Turns out the region was under the Great Song Dynasty, and they were being invaded. He was hoping you, as an immortal, could step in and deal with the enemy. You didn't say yes. Instead you asked, "Are there no other immortals?" He shook his head. In the lower realm, you're the only one. There's one other, but they're in closed-door cultivation. Before he even finished, you stopped him. Lower realm? He was a little thrown off that you had no idea, but he explained anyway. This world is the lower realm. It's where mortals live. Above it is the celestial realm, where true immortals dwell. They don't come down here without a serious reason. The last time one did was when they came to this town looking for a disciple. You frowned. So there's no mass destruction events caused by immortals? He thought about it for a while and slowly shook his head. Never heard of anything like that. And when immortals descend, their power gets severely weakened. You knit your brow and fell into a memory. That immortal, even after descending, wiped out a whole city with a single slap. Their true power must have been absolutely terrifying. But after that, no one ever heard from them again. They were probably forced out of this realm entirely. The moment you realized this, you felt genuinely relieved. You figured you'd just keep laying low for another few thousand years, then come out swinging once you were truly unbeatable. And just as Bamboo Hat Guy was about to offer you the title of Royal Advisor to get you to come out, you were already gone. A few days later, you were sitting peacefully in meditation when someone started urgently pounding on your door. Turned out a household in town had been hit by something supernatural. You rushed over immediately. The victim's face was withered and dry. Like every drop of blood and energy had been drained out. Mid-investigation, more bad news dropped. The scouts sent to look into the evil presence had turned up dead. Along with the body came a blood-stained note saying there was a dragon lurking deep in the mountains. It was keeping white ghosts to devour living creatures. You read the note and honestly didn't want to deal with it. But you couldn't just let the town suffer because of this thing, so you headed into the mountains. When you got to the base of the mountains, you just threw out a casual punch, and the entire mountain range started shaking. You called out, "Dragon, you in there?" No response. You grinned, cracked your knuckles, and decided to just blow the whole mountain away. In an instant, the peak crumbled like it was made of paper, and as the mountain collapsed, out came a massive serpent, dozens of meters long. You walked right up to it and tilted your head. "Bro, what exactly are you supposed to be? You're not a dragon." The serpent roared. "I just needed 100 more lives to transform into a true dragon. You dare interfere? You're not afraid of divine punishment?" You smiled and nodded. "Honestly? Not even a little." Then casually sliced it down with one strike. But the moment the serpent died, a wisp of energy shot out and burrowed straight into your body. The system pinged. Luck activated. Obtained. Flood Dragon Chi. Beginner grade. You thought about it for a second, and the Flood Dragon Chi surged forward, blasting out ahead of you and ripping apart the ground. You let out a breath and took a moment to assess your own power. Going by cultivation stages, you were roughly at Foundation Building Layer 9, basically untouchable by anyone in the mortal world. By the next morning, people in town started noticing the mountain range was just gone. Regular folks figured it was an earthquake, but the martial artists in town had a pretty good idea what actually happened. Stories started circulating in the martial world about an immortal who could shatter mountains and shake the earth. More and more fighters started moving into the small town to settle down. And you, still deep in seclusion, had absolutely no idea any of this was happening. Over those 2 years, the Great Song's border war had officially kicked off. But they were barely holding the line, just desperately defending with no ability to push back. On top of that, most of the troops that kept the town safe had been pulled away to the front lines. And with more and more martial artists pouring in, the fights just kept escalating. The local government completely lost control of the town. Ordinary people started fleeing in panic to the larger cities farther away. By the 4th year of your seclusion, the town had been renamed Little Jianghu, and martial sects were openly staking their claims here. 4 major factions had risen, and they were effectively running the place. As each sect expanded, the town itself grew into a massive, thriving city. But even as these 4 factions grew more powerful, they all shared one absolute rule that no disciple dared break. Do not go near the Immortal's house. Even though you'd been in seclusion for years and the courtyard was overgrown with weeds, not a single soul dared peek inside. By the 10th year of your seclusion, a figure appeared from a celestial sect hundreds of miles away, soaring through the sky on a green steel sword. Heading straight for Little Jianghu, some of the older fighters in town immediately recognized who it was. Yang Gang, someone who'd entered a celestial sect 30 years ago. And he was here because his cultivation was complete. He was looking for the person who killed his little brother over 20 years ago. After some digging, he suspected it was you. So he pressured the 4 major factions to call you out of seclusion. Outside your courtyard, the representatives from all 4 factions were trembling as they called out, "We humbly request the Immortal to come out. We have something urgent to ask of you." Next second, you just blinked into existence outside the door and lazily said, "What do you want?" The lead faction rep was shaking, but still managed to get through the whole situation in a rambling rush. You stroked your chin, completely unbothered. "Oh, right. His little brother, was his name Yang Wei?" The guy blinked, then quickly corrected you. "No, my lord. His name was Yang Li." Your memory suddenly clicked. "Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I killed him." The whole crowd froze. Nobody expected that. But then, the lead guy worked up the nerve to ask you to go deal with Yang Gang. You didn't say a word. You just headed to where Yang Gang was, and on the way, you casually bumped your strength up to 35. A surge of energy rushed through your body, then quickly settled back into stillness. Your group kept moving. At their own pace, you all arrived at the spot. The moment Yang Gang saw you, he immediately demanded, "Did you kill my brother?" You gave him a lazy nod, and offhandedly said, "You should have come way earlier. Now you're just showing up to die." Yang Gang didn't even get mad. Instead, a twisted grin spread across his face. "Good thing you killed that useless waste. Now I get to kill you, and it's perfectly justified." He charged at you with his sword. You just reached out and grabbed it. The blade didn't budge an inch. The crowd watching couldn't believe what they were seeing. You smirked. "This is all the strength you've got and you think you can use a sword?" Then casually pointed one finger. A burst of sword chi launched Yang Gang flying. Yang Gang's face went dark. He gritted his teeth. "You forced my hand." He threw both hands into a seal, and the next moment, a glowing blue celestial sword burst out of thin air. It came at you with the force of lightning. You stared it down, completely calm. You gave it a bored glance, then casually exhaled a puff of flood dragon chi. The next second, a thunderous dragon roar shook the celestial sword right out of the air. It plunged into the ground and didn't move. Yang Gang completely panicked. He kept forming seals frantically, but the sword wouldn't budge. His eyes went blank. You let out a smug little grin. This is all you've got, and you call yourself an immortal? Let me show you what a real one looks like. You raised one hand, formed a seal, and dense flood dragon chi started coiling around your fingertip. Then you snapped it forward. The kui tore through the very fabric of the sky and slammed straight toward Yang Gang. A deafening boom rang out. Yang Gang blasted straight into the earth, leaving a massive crater, but no body. Just a faint red mist slowly fading into the air. The crowd around you stood there, completely floored. Jaws wide open, not a single word came out, just one thought echoing in everyone's head. He literally tore the sky apart. This is what a true immortal looks like. While they were still shaking in awe, you suddenly froze, because a new notification just popped up in front of you. Luck activated. Beginner Flood Dragon. Chi has evolved to Intermediate Flood Dragon Chi. A surge of rich, dense energy began growing inside you. Then you turned to the crowd and gave a casual wave. Alright, nothing else going on. I'm heading back. But just as you turned to leave, something hit you. Actually, how much do you guys know about Yang Gang's celestial sect? Someone immediately stepped forward. Reporting to the Immortal, that sect was founded 300 years ago. Yang Gang was the sect master's final disciple. The sect master is also an immortal, but rumor has it he's been in a death door seclusion. You nodded slowly. I sincerely hope he's actually dead. No one in the crowd dared say a word. They just gave an awkward laugh. You kept going. And where are the original people from this town? Why is it all martial artists now? One of the faction leaders quickly replied, the original residents sold their homes for good money. And moved to the nearest city. You nodded, then said almost to yourself, I like this town the way it was, then walked back into your rundown little courtyard. The next day, little Jianghu got its old name back, Weishi Town, and the story of an immortal who split the sky with his bare hands spread across the entire Great Song. During this time, Bamboo Hat Guy showed up again, for the second time, asking you to come out of seclusion. You still said no, until one day a woman's arrival changed everything. A woman in yellow robes sat inside your house staring at you with pleading eyes. It was the Grand Princess of the Great Song. She said, Sir, I'm here on behalf of the Great Song to request your aid. We'll name you Royal Advisor, and meet your every demand. You didn't care. You stayed laid back in your chair. She tried every emotional angle she could. You didn't budge. Just as she was about to give up and leave, the system pinged out of nowhere. Luck activated. Spending time with the royal family increases Flood Dragon Chi by 1. No way, seriously? You jumped up and stopped her. Go back, I'll be there in 3 days. She lit up immediately. Thank you so much. The Great Song can't repay you enough. I'll inform my brother at once. You'll serve as the nation's royal advisor. The system kept going. Luck activated. Royal family favor obtained. Flood Dragon Chi +5. Identity updated. New title, Royal Advisor of the Great Song. 20% national fortune buff. Additionally boosts your cultivation by 20%. You stared at the notification for a moment, slightly dazed, then just rolled over and went back to sleep. On day 3, you set off toward the border. One step, and you were already 1,000 meters out, moving toward the front lines at a speed that defied all logic. At that moment, the border was in the middle of an all-out war. The invading barbarians had teamed up with overseas cultivators. Together, they were slaughtering Great Song soldiers, and the one holding the city walls was the Grand Princess from before. She let out a sigh. She had no idea when you'd actually show up. Right in the middle of this stalemate, someone appeared out of nowhere on the enemy side, charging straight through the armies, headed straight for the gate. He threw up a one-handed seal, and a massive phantom claw appeared in the sky. It slammed straight into the city gate. The gate exploded. Thousands of soldiers were about to flood into the city. The entire tide of the battle instantly shifted toward the barbarian side. Just as the last crash of the gate echoed out, a figure appeared. Lazily said, all barbarians stop right there, get out of Great Song territory. One of the enemy commanders fixed you with an icy stare. Who the hell are you? You realize we have 300,000 cavalry? We can grind you into dust in seconds. You shook your head. Not some rando. You can call me the Royal Advisor of the Great Song. The moment you said it, the Great Song soldiers defending the walls erupted. The Immortal's here. The Royal Advisor has arrived. The chants thundered through the entire formation. Morale shot straight through the roof. The low, broken energy from moments ago flipped completely. The barbarians couldn't just brush this off anymore. They chose to charge. 300,000 cavalry came roaring straight at you. The ground shook. The sky trembled. Just you, standing alone at the very front. But in the next instant, your eyes were full of nothing but contempt. You raised one hand, Flood Dragon Chi began to stir, and you grabbed forward. In a single motion, nearly 10,000 cavalry were wiped out like they'd been erased. As the dust settled, you walked out calm and easy. 300,000? Even 3 million wouldn't be enough. The surviving cavalry finally broke. Fear crept in. Most of them were ready to turn around and run, but one person stepped forward. The same guy who'd blown open the city gate, Wuja Tiemu. He glared at you, seething. Damn song dogs, we're falling back today. But in 30 years, I'm taking your head. You just laughed. 30 years? Right then and there, you decided. Might as well finish this now. He straight up one-shot Tiemu, just wiped him out. But the second Tiemu dropped. A weird formation appeared on his body, golden light bursting out everywhere, and his body just rebuilt itself. The moment this guy opened his eyes, he looked around and said with total contempt, mortal bodies are just so pathetically weak. Can barely put out any power. And then, out of nowhere, a whole group of cultivators materialized behind him, bowing respectfully. We welcome the Immortal! Thank you for personally eliminating this man, paving the way for our sect's descent into this realm. But this guy didn't even acknowledge them. He just casually waved his hand. A wave of fire swept through all of them, sending every single one to their grave. Then he turned his gaze to you. You little pest caused all this commotion. You're the reason I got dragged down here. He was getting angrier by the second. You actually had the nerve to ruin my chance to talk to the Holy Maiden? You're dead. He immediately started forming seals. An even bigger wall of fire came roaring toward you, ready to end you right there. But you fired back with a straight punch, your whole body surging with dragon energy. It slammed right into the descended immortal, and he clearly sensed the danger. A golden bell barrier instantly formed around him, eating your punch. But you didn't stop there. You followed up with a flurry of blows, and after a series of massive impacts, the immortal got smashed straight into the ground, blood pouring from the corner of his mouth, barely hanging on by a thread. All he could do was threaten you. You little bug. If you dare destroy my soul, stepping outside this pocket realm is your death sentence. You just smiled coolly, not scared, and threw one last punch. The immortal was done. The moment he died, the system went absolutely crazy with notifications. Luck activated. Obtained 3 Miu of invincible aura. Slain an upper realm immortal. Obtained their cultivation technique. Xuanhun Dao Scripture, Volume 1. You were hyped. You immediately started reading through it. Turns out invincible aura is earned by killing enemies across realms. Stack 3,000 Miu and you unlock the Grand Emperor path. The Xuanhun Dao Scripture is a full cultivation manual. Volume 1 only takes you up to the nascent soul stage. But master the whole thing and you can reach the Grand Dao physique. You didn't dwell on it too long. You turned to the remaining barbarians and waved them off. Basically told them to get lost. But to prevent more immortals from coming down, you decided to take out every last cultivator in the area. After that, life went on. After crushing the barbarian cavalry, the Great Song dynasty not only held the border, they actually expanded their territory. And word started spreading among the people about the Imperial Advisor, who wiped out a barbarian army with his bare hands. Meanwhile, right now, you were riding in a carriage toward the Great Song capital to meet the Emperor. But the next second, another system notification popped up. Luck activated. Earned nationwide worship from the people of Great Song. Dragon aura plus 45. You chuckled to yourself. Then you started mapping out your future plans. Right now, aside from you, there's only one immortal left in this world. And he's in seclusion. Upper realm immortals don't usually come down here, so you just need to lay low. Grind your cultivation a little each year, and wait until you're strong enough to head up there yourself. Meanwhile, back in the upper realm, inside the Fuyao immortal sect, an elder made his way to a cave entrance. He bowed and called out, "Elder, greetings," requesting an audience with the Holy Maiden. The elder had barely finished speaking when the cave door made a sound, and 2 eyes appeared, staring straight at him. No need for an audience. The Holy Maiden's busy. Just say what you need from out there. The elder reluctantly nodded and said, "The sect master sent me to notify the Holy Maiden, to attend the 10,000 sects grand gathering and strengthen ties with the other sects. He also asks the Holy Maiden to focus on her cultivation, so she can make a grand showing in 1,000 years." But the door didn't bother relaying any of this to Xiaoyan, because Xiaoyan could hear every word herself. She just didn't feel like dealing with it. Ever since arriving at Fuyao Immortal Sect, she'd seen way too much flattery and backstabbing. She knew these elders were all just after something. She let out a sigh. The deeper she got into the immortal world, the more she missed her days back in Waxy Town. Missed that guy, Qian Qiu, who actually treated her with sincerity. Then the scene cuts. Back to you. You were meditating when the Great Song Princess suddenly walked in. Imperial Advisor. This trip to the capital, I promise it won't disappoint you. You gave an indifferent nod. I'm sure it won't disappoint me. Because honestly, I didn't have any expectations to begin with. The princess's smile froze. She had no idea how to respond to that. After a moment of hesitation, she nervously worked up the courage to ask, "Advisor, what do you think of the Great Song dynasty?" You replied flatly, "Not much to say. It's like any other dynasty, really. As long as there's no famine or war, it's fine." You paused for a second. But history always moves forward. Your dynasty might end up as just one page in the history books. Hard to say. The princess listened, then couldn't help but push back. "But Great Song has you! You're our Imperial Advisor!" You just waved it off. "I could just as easily be a Tang dynasty official, or an advisor to some other kingdom, and I won't be in any history books, ever." The princess gave a bitter nod, then excused herself and left. On the road, the emperor had arranged an absolutely over-the-top escort. Exotic delicacies, fine wine, beautiful attendants, everything you could want, ready to serve you at any moment. But you completely ignored all of it, and just sat in the carriage thinking about your own power level. The stronger you got, the more you realized just how terrifying that giant hand was. The one that flattened a city right when you first arrived. Even now at 35 power points, you can only wreck a fortress, nowhere near one-shotting an entire city, and leaving a crater hundreds of miles wide. And that was while he was suppressed by the heavenly Tao, no less. You figured that's just what Grand Emperor level beings are like. You sighed, shook it off, and went back to grinding cultivation. The next day, the carriage finally pulled into the imperial capital. Crowds of citizens cheering on both sides of the road. And the moment you arrived at the palace gates, the last person you expected suddenly showed up. It was the Great Song Emperor himself, Song Baiye, frantically asking the princess, "The advisor! Where's the Imperial Advisor?" The princess just pointed at the carriage. Basically, you were still inside. The emperor immediately rushed over and clasped his fists outside the carriage. "Song Baiye requests an audience with the Imperial Advisor." Total silence from inside. The atmosphere got real tense real fast. A whole quarter hour passed before you finally stepped out, squinting at the man in front of you. "Who are you?" The emperor immediately bowed again. "I am the Imperial Advisor's most loyal follower, the Emperor of Great Song. Song Baiye." You gave a little nod. Not bad, good manners. The emperor kept going, bowing even deeper. "The Imperial Advisor is like a second father to Great Song. It's only right." You raised an eyebrow and joked, "So by that logic, I'm your dad?" The second those words came out, every official on the scene tensed up, all eyes glued to the Emperor, wondering what he'd do. Nobody expected what happened next. The Emperor clasped his fists, looked you dead in the eye, and shouted, "Father!" The entire court was floored. You were a little caught off guard yourself. You never expected this Emperor to be this flexible. You nodded and went along with it, then figured you'd take a look around the palace. But the moment you walked into the back garden, you froze. There was a massive statue standing there, and looking closer, it actually kind of looked like you. The Emperor beside you eagerly explained, apparently to honor your contributions, they'd built hundreds of these statues and placed them all across the country. You were low-key speechless. You wandered around a bit longer, then headed straight out of the palace and dove into the streets. Just outside the palace, not far away, a street vendor was hollering, hawking fruits and candied hawthorn sticks. You walked over, asked about the prices, and started chatting with him. Right in the middle of your conversation, a bright, peppy voice piped up nearby. "Hey, one iced sugar pear, please." The vendor quickly grabbed one and handed it to the girl standing there. You glanced over, a pretty young girl in a light yellow dress, grinning the sweetest smile. You'd lived for decades and seen plenty of girls. Nothing usually caught your eye anymore. But then you watched this girl part her lips and pop the entire pear into her mouth. And you couldn't help but stare. The bodyguards shadowing you nearby immediately panicked, exchanging glances in the shadows. The advisor has been staring at that girl for a while now. Should we? But none of them dared to act. Right in the middle of this tense moment, the girl's handmaid leaned over and whispered, "My lady, that man over there keeps looking at you." The girl still had the candied pear in her mouth when she dumbly turned around and locked eyes with you. Her face flushed instantly. She quickly spun back around. "Why does he keep staring? He doesn't like me, does he? But he's kinda cute though. Should I look again?" Just as she was going back and forth on it, you were about to head out, when suddenly an arrow of sharp energy shot straight at your skull. But you caught it with one hand without even flinching. Then an old man appeared out of nowhere. Impressed. Immortal level power really is something else. You gave him a look, mildly curious. "A cultivator. Here for revenge?" The old man smiled. "Revenge? Not quite. I just want to use the 10,000 people in this area as leverage to negotiate with you." You scratched your head, a little exasperated. "Great. People found out I'm actually a decent person. And now you've got the nerve to negotiate with me?" The old man flashed a smug grin. "We cultivators specialize in large-scale techniques. We can kill 2,000 or 3,000 people in an instant. You really willing to let them die?" He formed a seal with one hand. "And the moment I cast this, that girl over there dies too. You heartless enough for that?" While he was still trying to talk terms, you suddenly shook your head with a sigh. "I can't stop you, so I guess all I can do is avenge them afterward." The old man's smugness vanished, replaced by panic. He snapped, "You're the Imperial Advisor of Great Song. How can you even think like that? You're supposed to protect them at all costs." You frowned. "You're the one trying to kill people. I can't stop you, so I'll just kill you instead." The old man tried to say more, but you just turned to the girl in the yellow dress. "Stay close to me. I'll make sure you don't die." She instinctively stepped closer to you. The old man clocked it immediately. Tried to react, but you already sliced him clean in two. Even then, the half of his face still left broke into a cruel smile. "See? You do care. My partners are already casting their spell. They're all going down with me." You just calmly nodded. Right as you finished him off, you caught a faint sound of seal forming in the distance, sharp as a pin drop. Next second, dragon energy burst from your fingertips and instantly obliterated that presence. The bodyguards nearby saw everything. They rushed over, dropped to their knees, and bowed. "We failed to protect you, my lord. Please punish us, Imperial Advisor." You blinked, then let out a small laugh. "I seriously don't need you protecting me. Go home, stop following me around." You said your piece and walked away, heading back to the palace. That night, there was a knock at your door. A soft, shy voice came through. "Imperial Advisor, may I come in?" You thought it sounded familiar but couldn't place it, so you just said, "Come in." A figure stepped inside. It was the girl who had swallowed that whole pear in one bite. Her head was down, face completely flushed, not daring to look at you. She quietly greeted you. "Good evening, Imperial Advisor." You just casually asked, "What's your name?" She answered softly, almost in a whisper. "My name is Qing Yao." "It's an honor to meet you, Imperial Advisor." She'd barely finished speaking when you stepped a little closer. Then, looking genuinely curious, you asked, "Earlier today, when you bought that candied hawthorn, you popped the whole pear in one bite, didn't you?" She nodded, embarrassed. Her face went even redder. You grinned, just a little devious. "Impressive. Because I actually have a favor I need from you. Something I've always wanted to try." Qing Yao looked at you with wide eyes, clearly confused, sensing there was something more behind what you said. Then you kept going. "This thing, no man could possibly say no to," and you kept inching closer and closer to Qing Yao. She started to panic, face burning as you kept closing the distance. Then you stopped and smiled. "Can you eat a whole roast pig in 3 bites? Can you eat a whole roast pig in 3 bites? Qing Yao was stunned, staring at the roast pig that had just appeared in your hands, barely believing what she was seeing. But she went ahead and started eating anyway. Didn't even need 3 bites. She finished it in 2. You looked at her, cheeks stuffed to the brim, and couldn't help but laugh. Then you asked, "So why'd you come here anyway?" Qing Yao lowered her head and said quietly, "My father sent me. He said the Imperial Advisor had taken a liking to me and asked me to come serve you." After saying that, her face went absolutely crimson. She couldn't even bring herself to look up at you. You nodded and agreed. "True, I did take a liking to you. I mean, 2 bites for a whole roast pig? That tells me my taste is solid." That said, you didn't actually have her serve you. Instead, you pulled out a chessboard and challenged her to a game. But every single time Qingyao was about to win, you'd pull some excuse to stop her. The girl just laughed helplessly, thinking it was wild that the legendary Imperial Advisor played chess like a sore loser. You played the whole night. By the end, Qingyao was basically in tears. And she finally pulled out her last resort, acting cute. She pouted, "Imperial Advisor, can you just let me win one round?" You shook your head. In any competitive game, once you start letting people win, it stops being fun. Qingyao actually thought about it and nodded. She looked at you. You're right, it's not fun. You paused for a second. Then you quietly muttered to yourself, "She's so cute though. If I punched her, she'd probably cry for a really long time." Qingyao frantically wiped the tears forming in her eyes, glared at you with all the seriousness she could muster. "Please, for the love of everything, and spare me." Time passed, just teasing this little girl. A year into living in the palace, you found yourself wandering around again with nothing to do. But barely a few steps in, Song Baya popped up again out of nowhere. He grinned and greeted you. "Father, I've already ordered every city in Great Song to build statues of you. For the people to bow to every year. Just pick a date." You blinked. "I'm not a wishing machine. Why are people bowing to me?" Song Baya quickly explained. "You single-handedly drove back the barbarians and protected all of Great Song. You're basically a guardian deity. The people's worship is only right." Honestly, all the flattery left you a little flustered, so you just told him to handle it however he wanted. But once Song Baya had it all set up, you were in the middle of closed-door cultivation when a notification suddenly pinged. Luck activated. "Annual Imperial Advisor Day. Nationwide worship complete. Dragon Aura. Progress. 100%. You lit up immediately. Getting stronger while doing literally nothing? This is insane. And just like that, your Dragon Aura evolved into Linglong Aura. You skimmed the description, and just as you were about to test it out, a bright voice rang out. "Qiangqiu Gege! The board's all set up. Come play another round." It was Qingyao. She'd officially become your personal attendant by now, and after a year together, the two of you had gotten pretty close. She'd taken to calling you Qiangqiu Gege, and the moment you heard her call out, you just casually shuffled back inside to play chess. A few days later, you took Qingyao and left the palace. Out in the open fields, Qingyao stood there looking nervous, holding a big kite in her hands, and asked you worriedly, "Qiangqiu Gege, what if the kite doesn't fly?" You smiled. "It'll fly. Just run a couple steps and it'll go up." She took off running the second you said that. She kept trying and trying, but the kite just wouldn't take off. She finally stopped and complained, "Qiangqiu Gege, this kite won't fly." But the second she said that, a gust of wind hit out of nowhere, blowing through her hair and lifting the kite right up into the air. Qingyao got so excited she turned and yelled at you, "Qiangqiu Gege, the kite's flying!" You smiled and nodded. The wind was really strong today, and the kite climbed high. Qingyao looked over at you with a big smile. "Qiangqiu Gege, can we fly kites together again next time?" You looked at her and smiled. "Sure," but you didn't say when next time would be. Life always comes with goodbyes, and with a lifespan that never ends, you knew you shouldn't get too attached to anyone. It wouldn't be good for either of you. Time flew by. Before you knew it, it was your third year in the palace, the dead of a snowy winter. You got up without any rush, and in the white blanketed silence, slipped out of the palace without a sound. Next door, Qingyao woke up and started knocking on your door. "Qiangqiu Gege, get up! Qiangqiu Gege, stop sleeping in!" But nobody answered. She went in and found everything exactly as you'd left it. All your stuff was still there. You just weren't. She frantically called out your name, but no matter how many times she called, there was nothing. Eventually, she found a single page, a farewell letter, you'd written asking her to check outside. She walked out in tears, and about 10 meters away sat a lopsided little snowman, a broom sticking out of it, like it was waving goodbye. Qingyao waved back through her tears, and then with a thud, the snowman collapsed, revealing a book hidden inside, the Xuanhun Dao scripture. Half a month later, the news that the Imperial Advisor had left the palace couldn't be contained anymore. It spread everywhere. Officials across every province started getting anxious, all of them plotting how to get on your good side if they ever ran into you. And the martial world, with you gone, started stirring again, wilder than ever. 8 years later, the martial world kicked off a brand new round of voting for the top 10 fighters. And to top it off, they launched the Grand Martial Arts Tournament. Everyone started flooding toward the host city. But you? You're just chilling by the river, lazily yawning away. A middle-aged dude nearby noticed and called out to you. "Hey bro, why haven't you taken the boat out yet? It's almost noon." "Good business is coming your way." You just shook your head. "I'm not here to make money, I just want to row." Seeing how unbothered you are, the guy sighed and kept going. "Dude, you've been here 2 years. Go make some money, find yourself a wife." But you just laughed it off. "I'll just wait for her to come find me." The guy cracked up and didn't push it any further, just walked away. You headed back inside the boat. The Great Turtle Breath technique was close to completion, and you'd been feeling lazier than ever. You pulled up your stats panel and checked your spirit dragon energy. The offerings from worshippers were getting smaller and smaller. At this rate, it'd take 200 or 300 years just to max it out. But honestly, you didn't really care. For the past 8 years, you'd been dumping all your points into luck. Strength was still sitting at 35. Magic power, 0. But luck had shot all the way up to 13 points. Now fish literally jumped into your boat out in the open water. Just a normal Tuesday for you. Finding money on the side of the road, even easier. But you felt like it still wasn't enough. You knew that with high enough luck, anything was possible. And right while you were checking the panel, people started showing up on the riverbank one by one. They started buzzing and talking among themselves. One guy kicked things off. "So this tournament, who do y'all think is gonna take first place?" Before he even finished, everyone started going back and forth at once. Some said it'd be the legendary swordsman Zuo Feiyang. Others were betting on the court eunuch 9,000 years. Things got pretty heated real quick. But then one question dropped, and the whole crowd went dead silent. "What about that person? You think the immortal's gonna show up?" Everyone froze the moment they heard that. Then someone hesitantly started sharing their take. They figured you'd either ascended to the immortal realm, or the ascension failed and you just didn't make it. That's why no one's heard from you. But they'd barely gotten 2 sentences out before someone cut them off hard. You just sat there, speechless. At this rate, in a few more years, they'll probably say you reincarnated. Just as you were about to head in and rest, more chatter drifted over from outside. Apparently, a new powerhouse had popped up in the martial world, calling himself the Little Immortal. Word was he might be a chi cultivator from overseas. Supposedly knows all kinds of divine arts and techniques. And since you'd been off the grid for so long, he started making moves inside Song territory. After that, the group didn't say much more. They left to find a boat to cross the river. After hearing all of it, you stepped out of the cabin for the first time in a while. You stood at the river's edge, hands behind your back, let out a slow, quiet breath. You found what they said pretty interesting. People always obsessing over something called the martial world. But what even is that? If you had to answer, it's simple. Wherever you stand, that's the martial world. And with that, you set off towards your destination. You've now arrived at the Grand Martial Arts Tournament, blending into the crowd. You spotted 2 fighters up on stage, locked in a standoff. From the whispers around you, you pieced together that these 2 were Zhuo Feiyang and 9,000 years. They were going all out in a final clash for the #1 spot. Sword energy and raw power kept colliding, and after a few exchanges, 9,000 years came out on top. Just as he cracked a satisfied smile, you noticed a white-robed young man with a red mark between his brows, slowly stepping out onto the stage. He smirked and said, 9,000 years, ever heard the one about the snipe and the clam? The fisherman always wins. 9,000 years frowned. He recognized this guy. This was the overseas Little Immortal who'd been making waves lately. He knew this wasn't a friendly visit. He channeled Gangchi into both hands, keeping his guard up as he sized up the newcomer. The white-robed young man just kept smiling and said, I've already drained the blood and inner power of over a dozen top fighters. Now I'll take yours too. Use the Song martial world as a stepping stone to reach immortalhood. Right as he finished talking, he summoned a pagoda. The next second, it blazed with a blinding light. 9,000 years inner power started draining rapidly into the pagoda. Just as the white-robed man thought he had it in the bag and started laughing maniacally, the sky and earth suddenly shifted, like the wrath of heaven itself was about to come down. A massive lightning bolt came crashing straight down toward the white-robed man. He scrambled to release his spiritual energy, barely managing to shield himself. Then, out of nowhere, a laid-back voice cut through the chaos. Didn't I make myself clear? Overseas chi cultivators. I kill every single one I see. You're looking for death. With that, you appeared in an instant. The white-robed man saw you and immediately tensed up. He forced a smile and said, We're both walking the path of immortality. We're on the same side. You shouldn't be stopping me. The second he finished, you couldn't help but point right at him. You laughed and said, Who gave you the audacity? To compare a lion and an ant like they're the same thing? The white-robed man visibly tensed up and quickly tried to defend himself. But we both practice divine arts and immortal techniques. We're both! He was still going when you raised your hand and cut him off right there. That's not an immortal technique, that's a parlor trick. Then with one hand you reached out, and a colossal lightning dragon claw burst straight down through the storm clouds. The next second, in front of everyone's stunned eyes, it knelt at your side. You smiled calmly. The white-robed man stared at what just happened, his body trembling uncontrollably, and you just kept talking cool as ever. When you were overseas, I couldn't even be bothered to come find you. But you had the nerve to step foot in Song territory? Then leave your life here. With a single pointed finger, the lightning dragon shot straight toward the white-robed man. And just like that, he was gone. The martial artists around you stared at the scene, too stunned to say a word. You just gave a casual wave. Y'all go ahead, don't mind me. I'm just here to watch. You formed a hand seal, and just like that, a brand new arena materialized out of thin air. But nobody moved. Everyone was still frozen stiff right where they stood. You rubbed your chin and sighed. All right, fair enough, I probably shouldn't have shown up here. I mean, immortal cultivators and martial artists just don't mix. And in a flash, you were gone. After the Grand Martial Arts Tournament wrapped up, every martial artist who witnessed the Immortal's power started falling in line under the Imperial Court. The court ended up bringing a full 80% of the martial world under its control. And the martial world, it just wasn't the same wild, free-spirited place it used to be. Time flew. 10 years, just like that. A rare massive snowfall blanketed the entire land. Even the Imperial Palace was buried under thick layers of snow. A lone figure stood quietly outside, watching the servants shovel snow in silence. One sharp-eyed servant spotted her and immediately bowed respectfully. This servant greets Lady Yueji. Qingyao gave a small nod and waved them off. Go ahead and do your thing, don't worry about me. And with that, she quietly walked away. In the year since you left, the Song Emperor had personally bestowed upon Qingyao the title of Lady Yueji. Her status was even higher than a first-rank court official, all simply because she had once been your handmaiden. The Emperor also noticed that Qingyao hadn't aged a single day over all these years. Completely untouched by time, he figured she must have received your teachings and successfully stepped onto the path of immortality. And even though you'd been out of the picture for a decade, he was still too scared to have any ill intentions. At this moment, Qingyao stood there gazing blankly at the snow falling before her. Her thoughts slowly drifted far away, as if carried back to the past. She thought she saw a snowman with a broom stuck in it, slowly waving at her. Her eyes started to well up. She couldn't help but wonder, what if that wave wasn't a goodbye, but an invitation to come along? She missed you. Tears began streaming down her face, and the longing, just like the snow, wouldn't stop. In the blink of an eye, decades had passed. Early spring had quietly arrived. A lone figure walked through the mountain valley, hoe in hand. Over these years, you'd finally found the life that suited you best. Farming, watching crops ripen and fruit trees grow tall. It gave you a whole new understanding of time. And whenever you had downtime, you'd mess around with strange plants, just to keep things interesting. On top of that, you'd pushed your luck all the way to 40 points and unlocked a hidden achievement, Lucky 1. The effect, lucky boost on major events. And on small things, absolute guaranteed luck. Your attacks also became way more likely to land critical hits. On top of that, while training in the Xuanhundao scripture, you came across an interesting technique. It was called Netherworld Deadlock. The effect, drag any cultivator below the grand completion stage into a pocket dimension and force a one-on-one duel. And you'd gain 30% of their power as a boost on top of that. Pretty busted skill, but then, one day, you stepped outside ready to do your usual farming, when a sprouting fruit tree right in front of you caught your eye. Staring at the new little fruit growing there, something just clicked in your head. You entered a state of enlightenment. Time rushed by. You sat there in place for decades without even realizing it. Then one day, someone cut the tree down, and just like that, you snapped back to reality. Turned out it was just an ordinary woodcutter. He gave you a heads up that there were dangerous beasts in the mountains, then packed up his wood and left. Right then, the system notification chimed in. Powered by luck, you've gained insight into time. You've obtained beginner time comprehension. You scratched your head, a little confused, not quite sure what you'd even figured out. But the next second, you spotted a flower in full bloom, and a new idea hit you out of nowhere. Your eyes lit up with a flash of white light, and the blooming flower right in front of you instantly began to wither. Within just a few breaths, it had completely dissolved. You had a pretty solid grasp of how to use it now. No more overthinking. You started making your way leisurely down the mountain. On the way down, you poured points into strength, pushing it all the way to 85. More than doubled. The sudden power spike was intense. It took leveling a few mountains before you finally got your strength under control. Meanwhile, back at the Imperial Palace, Qingyao was tending to the flowers she'd planted in the garden. After a simple watering, she zoned out and started staring into space. By normal human standards, she'd be a grandmother by now. But after training in the Xuanhundao scripture, she still looked like an 18-year-old. And her cultivation had been skyrocketing throughout all these years. Just as she was lost in thought, a voice laced with a smile suddenly drifted over. "Penny for your thoughts?" Qingyao froze the instant she heard it. Her eyes immediately filled with tears as she turned around. A familiar figure was standing there, smiling warmly at her. There you were, right in the middle of the Song Imperial Palace garden, grinning at Qingyao, while the tears on her face just couldn't stop falling. Through her tears, she asked the question she'd been holding in this whole time. "Why didn't you take me with you?" You just smiled and answered, "Because I said we'd meet again." Qingyao wiped her tears, then pouted and said, "I just didn't think it'd take this long." You smiled softly and tried to comfort her. Qingyao puffed up her cheeks and muttered, "By normal people's count, I'd be a grandma by now."
都是老奶奶了。
You just shook your head with a laugh. "To me, you're still the same little girl." Hearing that, Qingyao's mood did a full 180. She was laughing and crying at the same time. Finally, she dried her eyes and asked, "So, when are you leaving this time?" You gave her a quick rundown. You weren't planning on going anywhere this time around. You were here to stay and train. Qingyao blinked, then immediately lit up. But before she could even enjoy the moment, you were already asking about her training progress, so you got the full update. Qingyao had been making insane progress in the Xuanhundao scripture. She'd already condensed 50 strands of Xuanhun Qi. You also realized that even though Qingyao's cultivation rank wasn't that high, she hadn't aged at all. And it was because the Xuanhundao scripture massively extends one's lifespan. So Qingyao had zero worries about growing old, at least for now. Qingyao beamed, then started showing you around the palace. But the sight of it absolutely terrified the eunuchs nearby. They couldn't wrap their heads around why the noble Lady Yueji was happily tagging along beside you. While they were nervously watching from a distance, someone suddenly appeared. It was the current crown prince of Song. He looked over at you two with a slight frown. Seeing Qingyao's radiant smile and how incredibly young you looked, his mind started racing, and then it hit him all at once. Wait, could this be the Imperial Advisor? He steadied his nerves and stepped forward right away. He clasped his hands respectfully and said, "I'm Song Nan, it's an honor to meet you, Imperial Advisor." You glanced over and casually asked, "You figured it out, huh?" I noticed Lady Yuej seemed pretty happy, so I figured I'd take a shot and come pay my respects, Master. You gave a small nod, then waved your hand and sent him off. As he bowed out, he called Song Baidian over to meet you. Soon enough, the old Song Baidian shuffled up in front of you and respectfully said, "Foster father." You looked him over and let out a soft laugh. Long time no see. Song Baidian kept nodding, clearly a little worked up. 50 years, foster father. 50 years. You let a small smile creep onto your face. Did you actually miss me? That caught Song Baidian off guard. He went quiet for a moment, then answered honestly, "Not when I was young. But now that I'm old, yeah, I do." Back when Song Baidian was young and hot-headed, sure, he called you foster father. But you were the kind of force that kept the whole world in check. As emperor, that wasn't exactly comfortable for him. But after you disappeared for decades, and as the years caught up with him, his gratitude and longing for you just kept growing. You looked at the sincere old man in front of you and laughed, patting his head. "Honestly, I didn't really miss you that much. I'm back now, and I might be staying a good while. Hope that's not a problem." Song Baidian quickly nodded. "Of course not. As long as Great Song still stands. You're welcome to stay as long as you like." He bowed out smoothly, and right after you let out a big yawn. You just started thinking about how to form your golden core when Kung Yao walked up, eyeing you curiously. She asked, "What are you thinking about?" And without even thinking, you blurted out, "You." Kung Yao's cheeks went red in an instant. She got all flustered. I'm literally right here. Why would you need to think about me?" You went quiet for a second, glanced at her, and replied, "Seeing someone makes you think of them. That's just how it works." Kung Yao lit up like she just caught you slipping, smiling as she pushed. "That's really normal?" You paused again, then nodded. "Yeah, it really is." And Kyung Yao smiled even bigger after that. Just like that, 2 months slipped by hanging out and goofing around with Kung Yao. Come the 3rd month, you started your core formation session. Sitting inside, spiritual energy gathering all around you, running the Grand Turtle Breath technique to form your core. Back when you were reading through the Xuanhun Daozhang, you'd noticed that the type of golden core you form depends on what cultivation method you use. There's the Earth core, the Human core, and the Heaven core. Core formation is insanely dangerous for most people, but your luck stat is off the charts, so everything just fell into place. Half a month later, you'd already done it. But the moment you looked at your golden core, you were honestly a little shook. There was a 7-colored golden core spinning inside you. But the Xuan Hun Dao Zhang said cores only come in 3, 4, or 5 colors. You stared at it for a few seconds, then decided to just let it go. A core is a core, whatever. And you could feel it too. Forming the golden core meant you truly stepped onto the path of cultivation. You could now create your own divine abilities from scratch. You already had a few ideas brewing and wanted to try them out. You stepped out of your room, but the second you opened the door, you found Kyungyao standing outside with a dead serious look on her face. With a candied hawthorn skewer hanging out of her mouth, you gave her a puzzled look. What are you thinking about? The second she heard you, Kyungyao immediately finished the skewer and turned to face you. She mumbled, "You're out." You nodded, then smiled and asked, "What were you even doing out here?" Kyungyao gave a serious nod. "You were forming your golden core." "That's a big deal. I figured I'd stand guard every single day. Make sure nobody bothered you." You looked at serious little Kyungyao and laughed. "Honestly, that must have been rough on you." Kyungyao gave a small smile, then seemed to remember something. A skewer of candied hawthorn appeared in her hand. She smiled and held it out. "Saved this one for you." You took it and asked, curiously, "When did you save this? It's been so long." "How's it not bad yet?" Kyungyao raised an eyebrow, looking pretty proud of herself. She grinned. "I brought 2 every single day. The moment you came out, I'd give you 1. If you didn't show up, I'd just eat it myself the next day." You grabbed the skewer and just went respect. The two of you shared a look and laughed, then stood there munching away with big goofy grins on your faces. After finishing, Kyungyao shyly held out a handkerchief, head slightly lowered. She quietly said, "Here, wipe your mouth too." You decided to tease her a little and said with a straight face, "You don't have bad breath, do you?" Kyungyao's face went beet red. She snapped back with her hands on her hips. "I absolutely do not. My mouth smells amazing. My spit probably smells good too. Don't believe me? Come smell it yourself." She opened her mouth wide, daring you to check. What she didn't expect was that you actually leaned in. And yeah, there was a light, delicate sweetness. "You were just about to pull back when Kyungyao stopped you," she said, still proud. "My spit smells good too, you know." You hesitated for a second, and Kyungyao's face went even redder, tears starting to well up in her eyes. She finally stuttered out, "Do you want to taste it?" Faced with a Kyungyao like that, you didn't say a word. You just let your actions do the talking. A moment later, you asked, "Are you really ready for this?" Kyungyao had the sweetest smile on her face. She nodded. "I've been waiting decades for this." You both smiled at each other, and in the days that followed, Kyungyao suddenly decided she wanted to learn swordsmanship. You didn't think twice and started teaching her. But one day, Kyungyao hit you with a question. "Hey Kyenkyu, do you like light yellow dresses?" You didn't answer right away. Instead, you tossed it back. "Well, do you like them?" Kyungyao frowned and thought hard about it for a while, but still couldn't decide. Seeing that, you smiled. "Honestly, I think a light yellow dress would look really good on you." Just like that, Kyungyao stopped frowning and stopped stressing. She smiled and nodded. "Then light yellow is officially my favorite color." Time flew by. Not long after, Emperor Song Baidian passed away. But before he went, he begged you to watch over Great Song. Looking at the old man, you finally agreed. "Natural disasters I'll handle. Human conflicts, not my problem." Crown Prince Song Nan took the throne and still treated you with total respect, consulting you on state affairs. But after a couple times you told him to figure it out himself. From that day on, a legend was left behind in the cultivation world.